everybody, for number 7, I want you guys to label this. This is going to be a hyperbola. I know it's going to be a hyperbola because here I have an x squared and here I have a minus 4y squared. So when you have a difference right here, you know it's going to end up being a hyperbola, not an ellipse, definitely not a circle. All right? So what we've done is we've rearranged everything down here. Now one of these is very, very easy to complete the square. One of them is a little bit trickier. All right? This one is very, very easy because you already have 1x squared. So what's going to go in this box, Shayla? Good job, Spot. 4 is correct. All right? Half of that is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. Am I allowed to place a 4 right over here? That's right. So I can put a 4 here and here because this is an easy one. All right? Over here, what do I actually have to factor out? I need to factor out a negative 4 first. So if I factor out a negative 4 out of these two terms, you have y squared. Good. Now what's negative 8 divided by negative 4? Positive 2. How do you check it? Use the distributive property. Make sure you get back to your original expression. Okay? Now at this point, half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. But I'm not going to put a 1 right here. What am I going to put? Negative 4. Negative 4. So you'll have 16. All right? So yes, on the right side, Ryan, you will have a 16. After you've added all of that together, that will be a 16. So I'm going to highlight something. We need to factor it. This right here. What does that factor to, Taylor?
X minus 2.
That's right. Good job. All right. Then we have minus 4 parentheses something squared. So Angela, check this one out right here. See if you can factor this one right here. What is this factor to? Y plus 1 squared, because this number right here is always going to be half of that coefficient. Okay? Now this is all equal to 16. But I don't want the right side to equal a 16. I want the right side to equal a 1. So what do I have to do to everything? Divide everything by a 16. So here's your final answer for your equation. X minus 2 squared over 16 minus y plus 1 squared over a 4, because 4 goes into 16 4 times equals 1. In a hyperbola, this will always be your a squared up front. This will always be your b squared right here. So if you have a minus sign, this is always your a squared, that's always your b squared. Our a value is equal to 4. Our b value is equal to a 2. I know my hyperbola is going to go left and right. My final answer is going to go left and right because I'm leading out with my x values, not my y values. If I was leading out with my y values, it would go up and down. So right here, what's my center? 2 comma negative 1. My center is at a 2 comma negative 1. All right, so we're going to graph this now. I'm going to scroll up here. We have our equation. I'm going to graph my center. My center is at a 2 and a negative 1. So I'm going to go over 2, down 1. I'm going to put a point right there at my center. I know my a value is what? 4. And my b value is 2. So if my a value is 4 and it's leading out with the x's, I have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. Left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. I need you guys to understand that these points are not just helping you build the rectangle. These are your vertices. So this vertice right here is at a negative 2, negative 1. This vertice right here is at 1, 2, 3, 4, those are your two vertices. This is where your hyperbola is going to pass through. It's going to pass through this point. It's going to pass through this point. My b value is what? 2. So I got to go up 2 and down 2. Once you've done that, this is what you're going to do. You're going to build your rectangle. So I want everybody to build your rectangle on your paper, and that's going to help give you dimensions and boundaries for your hyperbola. We're going to be drawing some asymptotes in now. Okay? Here's one of your asymptotes. Goes through the center of your rectangle. The asymptotes go directly through the center, going down 2 and over 4 units and up 2 and over 4 units. The slope of my asymptotes is either going to be a positive half, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, or it's going to be a negative half, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So those are your asymptotes. Once you've done that, then and only then can you draw in your hyperbola going through the vertices. Because the asymptotes provide the boundaries that you cannot cross over. So there is your hyperbola drawn going in both directions. All right? All right, so the last things we need to find right here are the foci. All right, and there's an equation that's going to help you with that. In a hyperbola, my board wakes up. All right, in a hyperbola, you're going to have c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Our a squared is 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. Our b squared is 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. So c squared equals 20. So c equals the square root of 20, which is approximately equal to 4.47. However, the simplified version of that, if you wanted to simplify the radical, would be 2 radical 5. Now the equation, everybody, for the foci, for this particular problem, because the foci are going to be located somewhere right here and right there, it's going to be h plus or minus c, comma, k. So h plus or c, plus or minus c, comma, k. It's not working well right now. Here we go. A little lagging. So my h value, everybody, was a 2. My c value is a radical 5. And my k value is a negative 1. So right here, the foci, what you're going to do is you're going to write 2 values as coordinates for your foci. One of them is going to be 2 minus radical 5, comma, negative 1. And one of them is going to be 2 plus radical 5, comma, negative 1. And this right here is where your foci are located. We'll call this foci focus number 1. We'll call this focus number 2. All right? Now, as far as the equations of the asymptotes, which is this green line and this green line, the final equation for that is going to be y minus k equals plus or minus b over a, parentheses, x minus h. So, my equations for the asymptotes in this particular case is going to be y minus my k value, which is a negative 1, so it'll be y plus 1, equals plus or minus, got to erase this guy right here, b over a. Well, b is 2, a is 4, that reduces to 1 over 2, x minus my h value, which is a 2. So this right here would be the equations of the asymptotes if I use this formula right there. And those are all the pieces of the hyperbola for problem number 7.